as pressure mounts ahead of next year's general election. The activities of Nigeria's electoral umpire has come under threat. INEC chairman Mahmood Yakubu says the agency has tracked 50 attacks across the country since campaigning began just over a month ago. These attacks have resulted in the destruction of some of its buildings, as well as thousands of permanent voter cards, ballot boxes, voting cubicles, megaphones, election bags, including some electric power generators. The most recent incident occurred when criminals set ablaze the Commission's offices in Ogun and Osun State. To check this destructive trend, Inspector General of Police Usman Baba has directed commissioners of police across the country to protect INEC facilities as part of measures to prevent further attacks on the Commission's properties. Well, joining us now via Zoom is INEC's Commissioner for Information and Voter Education, Festus Okoye. Good morning, Mr. Festus. Mr. Okoye, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Good morning.
All right. Well, also joining us in the studio is Public Affairs Analyst Razak Ulukoba. Good morning. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
All right, let's begin with you, Mr. Okoye. Talk to us. Since 2021, there's been a number of attacks on the Commission's offices, state offices, especially in the southeast, as it's been recorded, and now we are seeing it moving to the southwest. How challenging has it been for the Commission to really secure the Commission's offices against this kind of attacks?
We are really concerned, and it's also been quite challenging. Since 2019, the Commission has experienced over 45 attacks in its offices and facilities. And then just recently, we experienced 2 additional attacks in our Ede South Local Government Office and Abeokuta South Local Government Office. So it's been really challenging. And as you know, our offices contain sensitive and non-sensitive materials. And moving and protecting some of these sensitive and non-sensitive materials has also been very challenging. So the Commission views it very serious, and that was why the chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission convened a meeting of the Interagency Consultative Committee on Election Security to discuss this spate of attacks and the type of security challenge this spate of attacks pose to our nation and to electoral continuity. As you are aware, that meeting did hold. The National Security Advisor attended the meeting, the Inspector General of Police attended the meeting, and resolutions were arrived at. And then they agreed on the need to upscale intelligence gathering and sharing of information, and also the protection of some of these our offices, because the offices of the Independent National Electoral Commission are critical national assets. And some of the materials in these offices are materials that are required for the conduct of elections. And some of these materials are procured outside the country. And the moment there's a challenge with some of these materials, it poses a very grave danger to the conduct of elections. And that is why we considered it imperative to summon this Interagency Consultative Committee meeting to deliberate on the issue and protect our critical national assets, and also protect our staff who are working in some of these institutions, so that electoral business can continue.
Right. I would like for you to throw more light on the aspect of the challenge, because a lot of persons may not understand what you meant by it's been challenging to secure the offices of the Commission across the states. What were the challenge? What is the challenge you are speaking about? If you could speak to that, that's one. And you spoke about from the meeting that there have been talks about upscaling intelligence gathering and information sharing. What has it been like before now?
The Commission has offices in the 774 local government areas of Nigeria. And in all these offices, we have electoral officers and assistant electoral officers and other categories of staff. And all these staff go to work on a daily basis. And the moment you burn our office and prevent them from going to work, the implication is that there's electoral business will stop in those local governments. That is one. Secondly, these offices were built with the taxpayers' money. And the moment these offices are burnt, we have to go looking for an alternative office. We have to go hiring an alternative office. And sometimes you don't know the political affiliation of the owners of some of these offices you hire. Not only that, the moment you burn our office, what we are doing is that we are instilling fear in the minds of some of our staff from continuing with the type of business, the electoral business we are doing. And the moment you burn some of these offices, you also instill fear in the voters in relation to their coming out to come and vote on election day. Moreover, we plan and we plan well. As far as the commission is concerned, there is no activity that is too small to be planned. And so when we plan on acquiring ballot boxes and ballots and voting cubicles, we plan and we plan ahead because these things have to be manufactured. For instance, and then in relation to the issue of PVCs, these PVCs are also printed and printed with the taxpayers' money. For instance, in the attack in Abeokuta South, we lost 904 ballot boxes. So these ballot boxes have to be replaced. We lost 29 voting cubicles. They have to be replaced. We lost 8 generators. They have to be replaced. We lost 57 election bags and 30 megaphones. All these things have to be replaced. We also lost 65,699 PVCs. These things have to be reprinted. And the challenge here is that we are going to abandon some aspects of activities that we have already planned in order to get back to some of these things, in order to get back to renting an office, relocating our staff, and also taking an inventory and auditing materials that have already been destroyed. And so these things are not easy. And the election is fast approaching. And as far as the commission is concerned, we need to conclude on so many of these activities before the elections. In some countries, presiding officers come to the polling units with ballot boxes, voting cubicles, and ballot papers. There are no issues. But here, we have to be moving our sensitive materials from one place to the other. We have to secure the beavers from attack. We have to secure the ballot papers from attack. We have to secure other critical national materials required for the conduct of elections from attack. And this costs money. This also costs precious time, and the security agencies have to upscale intelligence gathering and also do a joint patrol and a joint protection of our various offices, both at the local governments and at the state offices. And so I think that the time has come for us to find a solution to this threat of attacks, because these attacks are meant to cripple the activities of the commission, prevent us from planning and planning well, and also trying to neutralize our ability to conduct free, fair, transparent, and inclusive elections.
Yes. The question I want to ask again is that if we are moving things from place to place, even is that not even danger? Is that not even making INEC material, electoral materials moving targets? Making them moving targets, will that not even compromise the integrity of the thing? The other question I want to ask is that have you guys categorized these attacks? Put them in context. What are the different kinds of attacks? They may not all be the same. They may not all have the same motivations. Have you been able to categorize them? Because you've talked about 45 attacks or so in the past few years.
I completely agree with you that moving our materials from place to place may likely make them moving targets. But in the circumstances in which we find ourselves, there is absolutely nothing we can do. This is because there are some of the sensitive materials that are not easy to procure. For instance, like the beavers. The beavers is a sensitive material, and that is why at the meeting that was held with the Inspector General of Police, the various security chiefs, the National Security Advisor, and so on, we agreed jointly that there's going to be a joint safety team that we protect, a joint safety and security team that we protect all INEC national access nationwide. And this team will be made up of the DSS, will be made up of the Nigerian Police Force as the lead agency in terms of election security. It will be made up of the fire service, and all the other security agencies in the country. So they are, from this moment, in addition to the measures already taken, they will protect all INEC facilities nationwide. This will enable us to plan well, and also secure some of the sensitive materials that will be that are required for the conduct of elections. And you know, the chairman has made it very clear that we are not going to postpone elections anymore on grounds of logistics. And based on this, we started procurement early, and we started moving some of these non-sensitive and sensitive materials to both our zonal offices and to our state offices and local government offices on time. So if our offices are treating, it will definitely have an adverse effect. But we are confident that with the measures that have been put in place and with the measures that have already been proposed, that some of these, our national assets, will be secured, and they will be in a place that will enable us to deploy and deploy early to location on election day. Secondly, in terms of categorization, I completely agree with you that some of the attacks are not related to political issues. There were some attacks that occurred during the NSAS protests. There were some attacks that occurred as a result of the activities of insurgents and also as a result of the activities of bandits in several parts of the country. But there were specific attacks that were completely and fundamentally directed to our INEC state and local government offices. As you recall, in one of the states, we lost almost all the smart card readers meant for the conduct of elections, just on the eve of election. And in some other places, we have had our people move against our offices. We have not arrived at any conclusion because the commission does not have the capacity to conduct investigation in relation to some of these issues. But the spate of attacks and the simultaneous nature in which some of these attacks take leads to the inevitable conclusion that they are targeted and they are meant to cripple the activities of the commission in terms of conducting elections. And it can only be the work of anti-democratic forces who are not comfortable with the strides that the commission is making in terms of instilling confidence in the electoral process and also making sure that the votes of the Nigerian people remains the only source of truth, remains the only basis for anybody assuming power. But we are still investigating. We are still, the security forces are still investigating, and we rely on them to get to the root of all these things and make sure that the law takes its course against anybody who is found wanting.
All right, Razak, let's quickly get your reaction to, the conversation we are having with Mr. Okoye now. First, he's saying that they will be scaling up security presence in their offices, and also talking about intelligence sharing, of course, with regards to this matter in terms of security agencies. That's on the one hand. And then he's also has spoken about how challenging it is for them to be moving materials, how it is that because of the situation we found ourselves, they have to be moving materials from one place to the other so as to address any logistic challenge. What do you sense from what he's saying? Is that a proactive move from the commission, from your points of view? And he has also talked about the fact that these attacks, perhaps it could be activities of undemocratic actors who wants to cripple the activities of the commission.
Well, first and foremost, the election is up to us as a people in Nigeria, if you want it to hold or not. And from what we have seen, close to 100 million people have registered, which shows clearly that the majority of Nigerians want this election to hold. And since the day of attack up to today, I've not seen anybody that has commended what has happened, either on the pages of newspaper or our interaction with people as civil society. We have not seen one. Coming to INEC.
There are those who have come out to say, arrest this person. Serap has spoken with regards to these attacks.
Yeah, that's something that people have always been condemning it, which shows that people want the election to hold. People have demonstrated their willingness to vote on the day of election. But what INEC is saying is very demoralizing. We've made case for INEC over the years, since the last election to today, make provisions for what INEC will need up until the day of election, logistics, vehicle, in terms of what they need. The civil society, all government agencies spoke to all Nigerians that this is not the moment for a voter party. The increase in number of people who came out to register is not only the work of INEC, it's a collective work for Nigerians. It must not be thrown away. What has happened today should have been emphasized. It looks as a shock to me, the magnitude of damage that was done. That means the criminals had a free day. So what was INEC thinking when you have such sensitive material in such a place? How many officers were on guard that day? And that's what we are saying. You see, federal police are responsible to guide important institutions like INEC, not to go and be attending naming ceremony with one politician. These are places they should be.
And serving the person food.
Yeah, serving the person food. These are important institutions we want them to secure. If you have enough policemen there, at least there will be resistance before they will call for backup. It's not acceptable. What INEC is saying, what Federal says, is not acceptable to Nigerians. He's talking about taxpayers' money. We have not seen value for our money from what he's saying. One. Two is that, are you saying that there's no backup? Even when the entire INEC office is compromised today, are you saying that there's not going to be election? There should be backup. And that's why some political parties are talking about privatizing essentially everything about our life. Go to bank, your ATM card, under 5 minutes, you get another one. INEC is not a rocket science, PVC. INEC is making it look as if it's an Herculean task. We are in an era where technology has advanced to a point where there must be immediate replacement for it. Okay, what were you doing for 5 years, for 4 years, up to today? If you go to China, go to Russia to go and produce cars, it means that if anything happens to INEC headquarters today, there won't be election. They have to put their acts together. We want that election to hold. Stop this kind of images that we are presenting about INEC. It shows clearly that you didn't make enough plan. The moment you have Boko Haram truncating the political process in the northeast, in the southeast, you should emphasize that it's going to embolden them to go to that region. To such an extent that you must have plan A, plan B, you must have a fallback plan. Nigerians are not dampened. Our spirits are high. We want this election to hold. We want INEC to be telling saboteurs that no matter what you are going to do, this election is going to. Those are things we expect from INEC, not kind of demoralizing. It's not acceptable to us. There must be election. Buhari, the president of Nigeria, should brace up now. He should instruct all agencies, security agencies now that are in the federal control, the police, the army. They have to withdraw all of them back to sensitive positions like guardian of INEC. And encourage all the state governors to also play their own role at this critical moment. This is not the time to think that Amotekun is an anti-anything. It's not anything. So if we want to have this election, it is a right way to the unity of Nigeria. The danger of not having an election, I can't imagine it. So all of us must brace up. The political party, this is the time for them to also play a role. The moment you are going to conduct an election, you must prepare yourself how to manage your loss. And that's the missing link with our politicians. And that is the reason why you see all of them sabotaging. You should be part of our voters' education. You should be part of political education. Right. The way you conduct trainings, seminars, and workshops for contestants to win election is the same way you must be conducting training and prepare their mind for loss. If political class prepare their mind for loss, all this one is not going to happen. So, moving forward now, there are a few things that we need to do quickly. One of it is to embolden all Nigerians that the election must hold. Second thing is that the INEC space should not be dampened at all. Political parties must also break up. And all federal agencies that have to do with orientation must also be at work.
Mrs. Okoye, two quick questions. One, some people see these attacks as a new form of rigging, rigging at source. Have you guys contemplated that in INEC? And two, have you had problem with the security agencies in terms of sending personnel and security to your offices across the country?
No, we've really not had any serious problem, any serious challenge with the security agencies in terms of protecting our facilities and our offices. What the security agencies are saying is that given the sensitivity of the issues involved and given the fact that elections are fast approaching, that they need to upscale the quantum of personnel they have in our various local government and state offices, especially to protect our critical national assets. And they have to also upscale intelligence gathering, sharing, and utilization of information to prevent some of these attacks from happening at all. Now, in terms of other issues, on whether our morale is dampened, on whether election can hold or whether election cannot hold, I think that as far as the commission is concerned, that is not even subject for any form of discussion. Because if you look at section 132, subsection 2, and section 178, subsection 2 of the Constitution, it makes it imperative that elections must be conducted within the time frame and within the window provided for in the Constitution. And if for any reason you don't conduct elections within that particular window, you are heading towards a constitutional crisis or a constitutional challenge. And this commission will not allow that to happen. Now, it's very, very clear that this attack in Ede North and Abeokuta South took place on the 10th. And by the 11th day of November, the chairman had already convened the meeting of the Interagency Consultative Committee on Election Security to nip the issues in the board and also make sure that all our offices are properly protected. And so this commission is determined more than ever to continue with the elections. Now, I think it's simplistic to equate the permanent voters cards of the commission with ATM cards. No, before we issue a permanent voters card, it goes through serious processes of cleanup. The voters list must go through a process of cleanup using our automated biometric identification system to remove multiple and double registrants before a permanent voters card can be issued. The PVC has power and has potency and cannot, for any reason, be equated with an ATM card. Not only that, the commission has backup plans for everything it does. And that's why I was talking about planning. We have 176,846 polling units in Nigeria. There must be a BVAS for each of these polling units. We have 8,809 registration area awards. There must be redundancies or backups for all the polling units in all these registration areas. And then we normally have what we call at least between 5 and 10% markup in case any challenge occurs. But we cannot, for any reason whatsoever, allow our offices to go up in flames and then burn materials procured with the taxpayers' money. And so we have a responsibility to shout. We have a responsibility to draw the attention of Nigerians to this spate of attacks. These attacks are not only targeted at the commission, they're also targeted at the psychology of the Nigerian voters to prevent them from going to the polling units, to create voter apathy, and also to make sure that people stay away from the polling units on election day. And these are the things that we need to prevent. Our young people have now re-engaged with the electoral process, and we want to encourage them to come out. And we won't allow this spate of attacks to dampen their morale and create voter apathy in the country. And so we will continue to shout if there's the need to shout, and we'll continue to protect our facilities using all available resources. And we're also going to continue to plan and plan well. But on whether the election will hold or not is a moot issue. Nobody is discussing that because this commission is determined to organize a very, very good election for the people of this country.
I didn't answer the part about rigging at source.
Yes, our business is to organize, undertake, and supervise election. We only know about the tactics and strategies of rigging when the political actors roll out their strategies. Of course, when you burn people's PVCs or when you buy up people's PVCs, it's also more or less like voter suppression. You suppress people from going to the polling units. When you scare people away from the polling units, it's a form of rigging. It's a form of voter suppression. And you suppress people, you create fear in the minds of the people, and they stay away from the polling units. But this commission will continue to encourage the Nigerian people that it is only through their vigilance, it is only through their mandate protection that we can have free, fair, and transparent election. Election is a multi-stakeholder venture. Election business is public business. It's for everybody. So all Nigerians must come together and resolve that on no account whatsoever must we allow a few individuals who do not want elections to hold, or a few individuals who are determined to create a fear and suspense in the minds of people from having their way.
All right.
Going into the 2023 election is something that Nigerians are looking forward to, and we are preparing well, and we are planning and also planning well.
All right, Mr. Koye, quickly, one quick question before we let you go. This morning, INEC was trending on Twitter based on accusations of the commission registering underage persons, and I'm wondering how you want to react to that, quickly.
Section 19, subsection 1, 2, 3, and 4 of the Electoral Act 2022 makes it clear that the moment we finish continuous voters registration exercise, that we must display, or shall we display, the list for claims and objections. That is the essence of these claims and objections. So if persons who are not supposed to be on the voters register are on the voters register, it is now the business of the Nigerian people to assist the commission clean up the register further. So if anybody has noticed, and this thing has also been uploaded on our website, so if any individual, any person whatsoever notices any malicious registration, the person can raise an objection. And that is the whole essence of the display of the voters register for claims and objections. The commission has nothing to hide, and the commission will continue to be transparent in all its dealings. All
right. Let's quickly come back to the studio now, our final conversation with you, Mr. Razak. There are those who have said that this matter of attacks is strange to the Southwest, and so they are fingering some persons, because there are those who are saying that they are Yoruba Nation apologists. They're saying that they are pointing fingers at Yoruba Nation apologists because they had said at some point that they do not want elections in the states whatsoever. And I'm wondering if you see it as such.
Well, smart criminals will always want to steal other people's identity to commit a crime. But what you say may be a possibility. There's no evidence to that. The moment you brace up to issues of national issues, ideas that are regional basis die down naturally. And since the emergence of Tinubu, in a way, has taken away people who have support for Yoruba Nation. Okay. And it's clear enough on social media, in the all platforms that have been saying it, that the idea is no longer a popular thing. So for a group to get to a point where we'll be attacking INEC offices, there must be a correlation with what you are seeing in the media. So the moment they are no longer operating in the media, I don't think there's anybody that has a flair for Yoruba Nation seriously in the Southwest now again. I don't think so. What we should be focusing our attention on now is the unity of purpose from Nigerians. We must work in unity. And it has been demonstrated since the incident has happened that this is not going to deter us from holding an election. All we need to do is for INEC to stop patronizing Nigerians. Stop talking about taxpayers' money. We know it's taxpayers' money. Do your work. For INEC to, at this period, be thinking with the idea of telling Nigerians and we are just talking to the police to give us, and it's disappointing. We have 774 local governments. How many police do we have? Are you saying that IG or police has refused to secure all those offices for you? If you have challenge in that area, we have encouraged you to speak out. We have the DSS, we have the civil defense, we have several security outfits in Nigeria that are set to enforce and promote
and
federal
that's what
laws.
he's saying. They are coming in now to ensure the security of
Coming in now.
That's what he said.
He's coming in now at what, 90 days to election. It's disappointing. These are issues that are supposed to have been resolved long before now. We learned that the attack on these places, the security agents were just 1 or 2 people. It's disappointing. Yeah. And that means INEC has a case to answer.
Yeah, he said I asked him if he had a problem, they have problem with security.
He said
no. Yeah. But then he confirmed by saying that they don't have enough people.
Yes,
INEC has a case to answer. We have to put our searchlight on INEC. What's our intention? Why must you put a sensitive material at a place that is manned by only an individual? Knowing on those states fraud, the profile it has in terms of security challenges, and it's close to the Niger Delta, close to the east, because there's a boundary between Ondo State and the eastern part. So it is not good for INEC to be telling us what they are telling us at the moment. INEC should brace up, and the president must call the head of those institutions to order to do their work. The next time I want to see Festus Okoye talking to the media, he shouldn't be talking in the spirit to which he's talking to us. It appears to us that what those guys want to achieve, as achieved on INEC, you should stop talking about Nigeria. Nigerians' morals are high. Don't you want to vote? My dear brother, don't you want to vote? All Nigerians want to vote. All we want to hear from INEC this morning is to tell us that nothing is going to change our resolve. What has happened? I just strengthened the resolve of Nigerians.
Well, he has said that the elections will hold. So
look at social media. With what you are saying, we have always felt that INEC has raised up this peculiar and repeated excuses they are giving. I thought they have done away with it. It's the same excuse all the time. All right. If you have ATM, you can use ATM anywhere in the world. That's high-level technology.
He has said you should not. There's no correlation.
No, there's a correlation.
That's what he said.
ATM has higher technicalities than BVN, because with your ATM, you can use it anywhere in the world. Your BVN should be simplified. Our government institutions and agencies they have a way of compounding simple things.
We have to
BVC is simple. It should be simplified. So, in essence, what we are saying is that this is not acceptable from them.
All right. We have to leave this conversation now, but we must thank you, INEC's Commissioner for Information and Voter Education, Festus Okoye, as well as Public Affairs Analyst Razak Olukoba in the studio.
Thank you. It's a pleasure being with you.